Hey everybody, welcome to our next exit. Well, the last time we saw you guys, we were way down yonder in Cottonwood, and we've made a lot of progress since then. As most of you know, we're headed up north to Alaska. That's the plan. We ain't got there yet, we're on the way. We're headed up here to Las Vegas. We spent a couple of weeks up there. We met up with our granddaughter Bryn and her husband John. They live in Vegas. They came out to see us for a couple of times, and they're vegans, and we love trying new foods with them. John went to culinary school. He's this great chef. Alrighty, I think we're up there, John. So what do you call these?
So these are lion's mane mushrooms covered in barbecue sauce.
They're big.
Yeah.
They look like chicken breasts.
Yeah, they're really interesting in texture and delicious. So let's put them on.
So we got it at 225. How long are they going to cook?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes on here. Right off. I'm just kidding. It's okay.
So, have you had these before, Ben?
I think you cooked them for me, right?
I've cooked these a few times. The nice thing about them is you can abuse them and they'll still come out good.
So even I could cook them.
Yeah.
All right. Try some lion's mane mushroom.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, here I recommend one of the smaller pieces. Probably there you go.
This?
Yeah, that one would be good.
Okay.
How did it taste?
And here.
Now that's the lion's mane?
Yeah, lion's mane. It tastes good. The barbecue sauce is nice.
Reminds me of a barbecued chicken thigh. Like because it feels kind of fatty in there, which is weird.
So tell me the truth. Put it down in the comments. Would you try some of these vegan foods? Pearl and I were both pretty leery of it when we first started trying them way back with our son and daughter-in-law 20, 30 years ago. But they've treated us to some really good vegan stuff. It's pretty good. The lion's mane mushrooms, they were good, but we probably won't have them again. The vegan burgers, they were excellent, and we'll definitely have those again. We really enjoyed Bryn and her husband John coming out to see us a couple of times. Bryn's a school teacher there in Vegas, and so after school, they would just drive on out. It wasn't too far. So that was great. And on top of that, Tom and Lori. We had planned to meet up here at Boulder Beach, just off of Lake Mead.
Cool spot,
and we got to spend about a week with those guys.
Very
You know
nice,
we played
yeah.
the old Mexican train.
Only thing it's missing is the beer cooler.
So we spent about 2 weeks there at Boulder Beach at Lake Mead, just outside of Las Vegas. And Tom and Lori, they left 4 or 5 days before we left. We had a great time with them. We had a great time with Bryn and John. But it's time to keep going. Alaska's a long ways up there, so we got to make some progress. One thing to note, see these little clamps? I put solar panels up on the roof of the Jeep and back in Yuma, and I'm holding them on with these little bitty clamps. And it works pretty good as long as you go like less than 50 miles an hour. But my son-in-law, we're going up to Elko, Spring Creek, Nevada, and he's got a shop. He can build just about everything. He's in the middle of building him off-road Jeep with 40-inch tires and all kind of stuff. I'll show you some of that. But more importantly, he quit that project and he helped build a little bracket for my solar panels up on the Jeep. And you can see on one of the rear view cameras, that's my solar panels clamped on the Jeep, and I can keep an eye on them whenever we're towing the Jeep. And they seem to be doing pretty good, but I want to add the Starlink antenna onto there and then get a bracket where I can bolt those solar panels down. Well, 300-mile day. You do okay, baby?
I'm doing okay now.
Getting ready for some Alaska road trips, huh?
Getting ready for it. Boy, according to these roads, man, we're getting ready for
Yeah,
it.
they're about as bad as I think Alaska will be. The Alcan Highway.
Lovely.
So we got about 450 miles to go from Las Vegas up to Spring Creek by Elko. So we're going to do 300 today and then 150 tomorrow.
13-inch tread pattern. Yeah, 40, 13.5 by 20.
So they sure make my 35s look like a starter kit. Then there's a piece that comes up like this, over and then down. And once that's done, then I'll get engine mounts, transmission, transfer case mounts. Get those set where I want it. Then I'll start doing forks.
We need this. Now our angle is really critical because we don't want to bend it like that.
Right.
Convert this to round. I don't know now. This square is kind of unique.
Unique. And what size engine is it?
It's an LS3. I think it's 6.2 liters.
LS3. Holy cow. It's pretty slick. And then the Jeep, that's the frame that you had on the side of the house, huh? Or the side of the shop?
Yeah, I had it on the side of the shop for the last. That was outside to inside, so that transfers to center to center.
Oh, it would, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll find the center of this and take half of 10 3/4, so 5 3/8 from center, and then another 5 3/8 will give us 10 3/4.
It would, be exactly.
Yeah.
So you might be wondering just, why am I going to all this detail about Ronnie's Jeep he's building up? Well, number one, we really enjoy these Jeeps, these off-road Jeeps. But number two, and you're fixing to find out here in a minute in the video, we've got an RV that broke down. It's needing every one of these skills, this cutting and grinding, drilling, and welding. We need all of that to get one of these RVs back in order. I'll show you that in a minute. This is the final result. But right now, let's finish up and get that Starlink Mini mounted up on top of the Jeep and see if it works. We got bolts up here to hold it on. So what we ended up purchasing is the Starlink Mini, and we purchased a mount with these 4 really strong magnets. And it runs off a 12 volt. It's got a built-in router, so this is all there is, this little square footprint. And we put in a 100 amp hour lithium battery down in the coach, in the bed of the Jeep, to power it. And it powers the refrigerator and the Starlink Mini just fine. And we can put it up on top of the RV roof. We put a steel plate up there. So we run our power from the little 12 volt box up there that goes inside all the way down. And glued and taped a little metal plate on the roof of the RV. And I can put the Starlink on either the RV or the Jeep. It's got 4 little magnets and they are strong. You got to get it right the first time. And it's there. And the reason we want that is Verizon, or none of the cell phone services have great internet up through Canada or Alaska. We have Verizon for our cell phone service, and here's a map showing the coverage. Now we get free Verizon up in Canada and Alaska, obviously, if you can get a signal, but there is no signal on the western part of Canada for Verizon. It doesn't appear to me. And then around Valdez and Anchorage, there's some service, but we're going to go down to Seward and stuff, and then we're going up to Fairbanks, and then up to the blue up there, the Arctic Ocean. We're going to be going up there. So driving through the west part of Canada, there's not a lot of towns, a lot of roads, a lot of service. We're just not comfortable being out of cell phone service. And our regular Starlink can cover us when we're stopped and we put the antenna out on the ground. We can get coverage, and that works, and nothing wrong with that. But we can be driving down the road now, 50, 60, whatever, 80 miles an hour. I doubt we'll be doing 80 much, and get full coverage. It'll help us find boondocking locations and just look around on the Google Maps and see what the area looks like. We think it's going to be a big asset, so we'll see. And not to mention, when we get back to Yuma next winter, we're out off-roading and stuff, we'll have internet, Starlink, driving out in the middle of the boonies, which is a big benefit. No more downloading maps and stuff. All right, now this Alaska adventure is going to start. At least for Portland and I, we're ready. And we think we've got the RV, we've got the Jeep set to go, we've got the tools we need. And we're ready to go meet up with our partners. We got Don from Cowboy Biker Adventures. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to meet up with him, but along the route from Elko up to just outside of West Yellowstone, that's 400 miles. We're going to try to do it in one day, but we got some weather up north. We don't know for sure how that's going to go. We'll meet up with Don somewhere along the way. And then I've been talking to some more friends of ours, Ken and Kathy. They're going to Alaska this year, and they're up close, right close to where we're going. As a matter of fact, we camped here with Joe the computer guy about 3 years ago. We're going to meet him up there, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, that went pretty smooth, huh? That's exactly how it was supposed to go. Ken and Kathy and their fifth wheel were up there waiting for us. Don caught up with us around Pocatello, Idaho, I think it's called. And we planning on getting there in the middle of the afternoon. But there was some weather waiting for us, some surprises. About the time we got to Idaho Falls, I got a text from Ken saying there's a problem. So right before we met up with Don, I got the text from Ken, and it didn't sound good. He almost got stuck on the road getting into camp, and then shortly thereafter he sent us this beautiful little picture. And that sealed the deal. We met up with Don, we talked about it, and we decided to go to Camping World and spend the night. It just wasn't worth the risk of getting stuck in that snow somewhere. We were really happy to get that picture from Don and explaining that it's a little bit snowy up there. We made it 300 miles, I think Pearl drove to Idaho Falls, and we had met up with Don about 50 miles earlier, and we all decided to camp there at Idaho Falls at the Camping World. And that went great. We went and asked them. They said, yeah, no problem. We spent the night, and then the next morning we got another text, partly encouraging, still looked a little scary, but we decided to take off and see if we couldn't make it.
Well, I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're unloading something, and thought I'd send you a picture. I think if they could make it, you could make it. And they got a truck sitting over here. Not sure what's going on, but looks like some sort of construction.
So we got our fingers crossed. We're heading out. That picture looked a little scary. I don't know what we would have done if Ken hadn't have been sending us those videos and texts giving us the conditions. There's no doubt our Alaska adventure is underway. We made it. It was 150 miles. We made it with no problems, and when we got there, it dried out even more. The sun just worked magic, and there's plenty of room. We just backed right in, and we're all set up. This is our buddy Ken. He's the one that saved our bacon and sent us those pictures and videos and warnings about the snow and helped get us in here safely. But now we got to help him solve his problem. He's got a slide issue where you can look on his the front of his slide. You can see that's out about 8 or 10 inches. And then you walk around to the rear of the slide. It's out close to 20 inches. And we thought it was the gear pack, and I've got an extra gear pack or two, so we thought we might be able to fix it real easy, but it turned out to be a little tougher problem. Let me show you.
Okay, she's just standing by the button.
Okay.
So all we have to do is press. Once you say out, she's going to hit the button.
Okay.
And so.
All right, let's bring her in there.
All right. Go ahead and press out there.
So once you get under here and look at it, it's obvious this slide arm is supposed to be welded onto the back of that slide, and the slide should move with the arm. So it sounds simple, we just need it welded on, maybe fabricate some kind of reinforcement. But hopefully we can get a welder to come out to the campground and fix it. If not, Ken have to take it into a shop. But I think it's going to be a fairly easy fix once we get somebody qualified to do the metal work. And to be honest, in my opinion, there's probably not anybody more qualified to fix Ken's fifth wheel than my son-in-law Ronnie. And I'd be willing to get a hold of Ronnie and see if he would take on this project if Ken and Kathy wanted to go back to Elko. But lucky for Ken, he's got a friend not far from here, and he called him, and they know a welder, several welders. So Sunday we're going to have push the slide in, me and Don and Ken push that slide in, and then we're going to secure it in tight so it can't come out on its own. And while he's driving down the road, and he's going to go to his friend's house and see if one of those welders can't take care of it. So all's well that ends well. I think they're in good shape, and they're going to be heading up to Anchorage in probably 2 weeks. So I think we got a plan. It's been a week we've had here. Monday we're leaving to go up to Shelby, Montana to meet up with the 2 other RVers, Lenny and Angela and Wayne and Carrie, and us and Cowboy Don, and we're going to start our Alaska venture moving into Canada. That pretty much covers it. You guys know as much as we know now. We hopefully we'll put out another video in a week, maybe 2 weeks. We'll be in Calgary in about 10 days, and I have no idea what happens after that. We're going north. So until we see you guys again next time, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit, folks.